Hello again, my Maple Leaf fans. Today is game day. We're playing against the Detroit Red Wings in a back-to-back, not back-to-back, sorry, home and home before we start the home opener on Wednesday. I'm thinking a pre-game, mid-game day press conference for tonight's game. Enjoy.
Hockey.
What have you made under this camp under a new head coach, and kind of maybe some of the differences that you've seen?
Yeah, I mean it's been a good camp. I mean, I had a couple of days I wasn't in it, but it's been good. It's been hard. Yeah, it's been a great camp so far.
What happened? Was it just something that pulled up, like during one of the sessions here? Or?
Yeah, it's nothing crazy. It's minor. Feels good now. Good to be back with the guys and playing again.
What was the best non-hockey thing you did this summer? Like, what did you do to get away from it?
I went to Italy with my wife for a couple of days. Went on vacation with the whole family. It was nice. Yeah.
Do you watch a lot of the rest of the playoffs, or do you unplug right away, or do you kind of
watch some? Yes, I mean when you're out, it kind of stings, and you don't want to. For me, this is trying to get away from it for a bit, but yeah, I watch some of it.
What gives you the greatest hope that the result could be different this year?
Yeah, I mean we have a great team here right now. And it's a new season. It's a new season every year. But I mean, all we can think about is we're here every day. We're trying to get better every day, and that's all we can do.
How would you characterize the differences, Callie, between Sheldon's camp last year and what you've noticed out of Crank this year?
No, I mean camp is always camp. I mean it's always hard, especially in the first couple of days. A lot of skating, but yeah, all I can tell you is it's been a great camp.
There's a lot of really good forwards in this camp, more than the team actually needs. What have you thought of the quality of competition for jobs out there?
Yeah, I mean it's like you say, we have a deep group here for not too many spots, but I mean it's good. It's good for the team, good for everybody.
You always like to add a Swede. What do you know about Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and do you know before now, and how has it been since you two both got here in the same camp?
Yeah, I mean I knew him from before. We're the same age. Grew up playing together for the national team a couple of times. He's a great player, even greater guy. We're happy to have him.
Earlier at camp, we saw you taking some reps with William at center. I'm just curious what your impressions have been at him in that position in the times that he's been there.
Yeah, I mean Will is always great. It's always fun when you get to skate next to him. I mean I don't know where he's gonna play, how he's gonna play, but it was fun to play next to him for a couple days.
Did it make a difference for you at all, like in terms of when you're kind of keeping up the line that he's there, or if it's Domi there, or does it really?
No, I feel like I'm always trying to play the same way.
How many preseason games do you like to play? What's the right number? Do you feel ready?
The right number? I don't know. I'm happy that I get to play today, that's for sure. I only played one, so I'm happy that I get to play today, and then we'll see Saturday. I don't know.
Do you still get nerves for preseason, like before the game, or is it just like how does it feel at this stage?
I feel like it's try to get ready, try to work on your game. I don't know if I'm getting that nervous. Usually opening night, first real game, you get a little nerves coming, which is always good and nice.
What are your thoughts going into Detroit tonight?
Yeah, I mean we've had some time off here, in terms of gameplay. So it's nice to hopefully try and get into a rhythm here and find my game and continuing to build it up.
How close do you think you are to your game?
I mean, it's tough to tell. I had a good first game, second game not so much. Camp has been very difficult in a good way. I like where the pace is at. I like where my legs are at. I guess we'll see. I'll have a better indication of that tonight.
There's a lot of really good forwards in this camp. Do you feel the competition level? Like, is that good?
Yeah, it's always good. I think all the best teams I've been on, there's always been guys pushing each other, whether it's power play in the lineup. That's what makes a good team, and healthy competition is internally has always been a way to bring out the best in people, and this is no different.
Yesterday we learned a lot about Nikita Grubenkin. What have you learned about him?
I played with him the first game. He's a good player. Has definitely adapted well, picked up English pretty well as well. So definitely a smart kid, and obviously he's impressing them. He's still around. He's playing tonight, and it's nice to see that.
It's pretty funny too, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little something he's done that's made you laugh?
I don't think he took. He was wearing a sleeveless shirt all trip. I don't think he took it off the entire time we were there.
This year, you feel you have to get into as many exhibition games as possible?
I've always felt that way. I've, I remember in Carolina, I remember telling Roddy, like, right when I got there before I got injured, I was like, I want to get in as many games as possible. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, especially with new atmosphere. I mean, it's hard to switch teams. It's hard to come in new environments. So, yeah, I've always wanted to get in as many games as possible.
In other words, you like to play Saturday, too, and get the full...
Yeah, we'll see how tonight goes, yeah.
You mentioned expectations. Has it gone the way you would have wanted it to? Or, like, how do you measure it from day to day with game to game? Because it is 3 weeks long.
Yeah.
How do you kind of temper everything and kind of set out the plan and look at where you're
just trying to get better every day and fit in with the group. I just mentioned before that it's really hard to switch teams, and I've done so here 3 times the last 3 years. So you don't want to get too high or get too low. So while I was excited about the first game, I still knew that despite the points, there are some areas I want to get better. Last game definitely as I mentioned, I think slowed down a bit. Camp was kind of at its peak in terms of difficulty there. So I had a good recovery since then, and hopefully can get even better tonight.
Seems like there's been a lot of animosity in preseason games this year, Max, not just with you guys, but throughout the league. You've been around a little while.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it higher this year than it has been in recent years, or what's your view on that?
Yeah, I don't know. I know guys are talking about it. I haven't followed all that much. I just know that a few top end guys have gotten injured. So when that's the case, obviously it's a little bit more under a microscope. So big names in big markets tends to bring out kind of a lot of buzz about it, and it's unfortunate that that's the case. But I know some people have talked about preseason and whatnot, but I've always thought it's a great time to build your game. Obviously, it's a sport that you can't guarantee anything injury-wise or whatnot. So the pros and cons are obviously going to be debated by people with that.
Do you find veterans, guys who've been in the league a long time like yourself, treat the preseason differently than a guy who may be like 23, 24, who's trying to crack the NHL for the first time? Do you have to be cognizant of that when you're on the ice?
You do. You see a lot of these games, teams aren't even dressing their full lineup, and they go in against a full lineup and they win. So, that should say something there about, guys having that hunger to try and make teams around the league. At the same time, if your game is to play physical, you want to go out there and play physical, and obviously, most veterans don't like that, and that causes some animosity. But it's a sport that's kind of tough to gauge when it comes to how physical you need to be when you're trying to make a team, or when you're in preseason in camp and whatnot. But we're only talking about this right now. I mean, when I first started in the league, there were fights between teammates in camp all the time, and that was considered normal. So I think just the bar has gotten kind of moved in terms of what's normal and physicality in camp and preseason, and that's fine as well.
What's the correct number for preseason?
Yeah, it's different every time.
Has the number changed over the course of your career? Like the number you want?
Well, some teams only have a couple games, 4 games, I think. So I think here having 6 games, I would like to get in as many as possible, and I've always felt that way.
Yeah, it's just kind of been like that the whole time. It's just day at a time. So that's the best answer I can give you. And as long as I'm focusing on what I can control and doing it a day at a time, then like I said, I'm just confident things will fall into place. But tonight's a good test. Another one. We only got a couple games left here before the regular season starts. So I'm hoping to just show the coaching staff, more about my game and stuff here, before the season starts. So I'm feeling good right now. So hopefully I can just keep things going forward.
How does it feel when they bring former Stanley Cup guys in to try and change the thing? How does that make you feel as a new guy here?
Yeah, every team wants winners, right? So, you gotta, being able to go through what I did last year was such a privilege to be able to go through with the group that we did, and it gives you a whole new perspective and makes you appreciate how hard it is really to win. And it takes so much more than just luck and even just hard work. There's a lot that goes into it, the extra sacrifice, guys going the extra mile, and to be able to bring that into camp this season to a team that has a lot of potential to be able to go and do what we did last year. It's exciting. It's a good opportunity for us guys to rub off on the rest of the group and kind of give the tips and pointers that we learned last year, and hopefully put that to work this year.
And have you been asked about that by guys, even younger guys on the team, about that experience?
Yeah, we've had a few questions just about, obviously you guys saw the tattoo, and Sully's got one too. So little things, guys will just pick your brain a little bit, whether it's just about the party afterwards or, what it was like, the difference between series and rounds and stuff like that. So anytime we can, share a little bit of a tidbit of advice or whatever, we're happy to do so.
How hard is that trip up north go in terms of trying to learn the different personalities on this team?
The trip, that we just got back from? Yeah, no, that's the stuff that brings teams together, really. You're at the rink all day, every day, or not all day, every day. So you're at the rink for the better part of the day, and it's business when you're on the ice, and obviously you got to tune in to practice and stuff, but it's the time away from the rink that you get to know about, not necessarily the guys' tendencies on the ice, but, their families, and if they got wives and kids, and, you get to share stories and just kind of relax and get away from all the hype and whatnot surrounding the team. So it's great for team bonding, and like I said, you get to know guys on a more personal level, and I think that's kind of what kind of builds the chemistry that helps out and leads onto the ice.
Is there a perfect number of preseason games or an ideal number that you'd like to play in your head?
Yeah, I think you're asking the wrong guy. I'm not sure whether less would be better or if we're good where we're at right now. I know there's obviously been some injuries around the league right now, and that's a little bit unfortunate, but it's a physical game, and guys are trying to make hockey clubs, so that stuff's going to happen. But like I said, it's unfortunate. You don't want to see that stuff, especially in a game that technically doesn't really count. But these are games that show the coaching staff what some players are made of. These guys that come in, and there's the guys that are on the team and they're getting tuned up and ready for the season. There's guys trying to make the squads too, so different mentality across the locker rooms and stuff, but like I said, I'm not sure what the right number is, but I'm just taking it a game at a time, like I've been saying the whole time.
What have you learned about Nikita Gurbankin?
He's a great kid, and his English is actually coming along pretty good too. It was nice to get to know him a little bit, like when we were up in Muskoka there, but he's a really friendly kid. He sat at the table with us a couple times, and you can tell he's trying and he wants to, say what's on his mind and stuff. So a couple times he had to pull the translate out on the phone and show us. But no, really, really nice kid, humble, super, bubbly, and he's kind of got that infectious personality you want to be around. So yeah, it's been great getting to know him.
So that Amazon series comes out tomorrow, and Kachuk's in it big time. Just curious, being on the Panthers, how much did you notice the cameras around? Were you careful about what you said in front of the cameras? How was that experience being around that?
To be honest, we weren't so much careful. It was just these guys became kind of just part of guys that were hanging around the locker room. We had some cameras in there from time to time throughout the playoff series, but these guys we got to know on a more personal level because they were around so much. So after some games, we were giving them high fives and stuff like that, like they were part of the squad. So it was cool just to see them interacting with other guys. Obviously, they're following Chucky around, and I'm excited to see how that turns out. But yeah, it was cool to just see him hanging around, and there's obviously some stuff they would have had to edit out, but I won't dive too much into that stuff. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
And are you curious to see, I've seen it in the Oilers stuff, to see the flip side of the disappointment,
right?
The polar opposite of what you guys went through. Are you curious to
definitely curious to see. Like I said, I've lived it once. Sometimes you don't get to appreciate the moment, and there's little things that you might miss. You know, some things are such a blur, and you kind of forget that, oh yeah, that happened, or I forget this was said, and that this led to, you know, whatever. But yeah, I'm excited to go and watch it and kind of relive it again. Hopefully I can put a couple hours aside so I can really appreciate it, and yeah, it's cool.
John, what do you make of the bonding trip that you guys went on?
Well, I'm biased. I love it up there. So I thought it was a great couple days. It was a little change of pace. Just did some different things. Obviously a great new facility there in Bracebridge. So had a good skate. Obviously the fan support was phenomenal. Yeah, it was awesome. Just changing up the scenery, especially as camp kind of get towards you know, the middle part of it, towards the end of it here. It's always good to just get some time together, be away, different atmosphere, different environment. So make the most of it for sure.
Is that the same facility you guys went to like in August, like with Easton and Austin?
Yes, yeah.
Taking a couple of days off with bumps and bruises, how are you feeling right now?
I feel great. Yeah, I think just more on the precautionary side than anything. There's just a contusion there, so I think we just wanted some of the swelling and soreness to settle down. Obviously, regular season is probably a different approach in how you're coming back, and you know, medical staff did a great job as they always do, and felt the extra couple days there would just do me a lot of good in the long run, which I think it has. Feel really good this week, and happy to be back out here with the guys the last couple of days and preparing and pushing yourself to get ready for the year.
We're always trying to read the tea leaves. Who's going to play with you? Tell you're back with Willie. What's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, that's what you guys do, right? So for us, you know, we got great players, a lot of depth, a lot of skill, a lot of different elements. You know, speed, physicality, guys that are strong on the puck, obviously guys that make plays, guys shoot the puck well, the way they defend, think the game. So a lot of familiar there playing with Willie, obviously. So back at it today, and just go out there and practice hard and do a good job and try to execute really well. So like I said, you're preparing as best you can throughout this week to get ready for you know, what's coming for real. So I thought it was a good day for us.
Joe, there seems like there's been a lot of animosity throughout the preseason, not just with you guys, but throughout the league. You've been around for a little while. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but does it feel like it's elevated this year compared to where it's been in recent years?
I would agree with you. It does seem that way. You know, I think there's always different and new trends and things that happen that always kind of tough to pinpoint. But I think just looking within our own division, obviously a very competitive division, a lot of teams looking to take steps in the push, and obviously teams that have been very consistent over the last number of years continuing to want to do that, and for a team like us wanting to break through. So I think just the competitive element is already kind of there. Whether that should lead to those sorts of things, I'm not sure, but I think everyone's hungry, everyone's itching, and it's a very competitive league, and everyone's excited to get going, and for whatever reason it's led to some of that stuff.
From what you've seen of them, is there any difference in Easton Cowan this year compared to last camp?
Yeah, I think there's a few differences, and I think it's just part of the natural learning curve. I think, you know, I thought the home game against Montreal, he played really well, and I think it's easy as a young player to think about last year and how it went and to compare those things. And I think for him, he's just learning just how every year it's, you know, things are different. It's a new start, and not that he's had a mindset worrying or relying on that, but just that learning curve of now he's adapting to different variables. He's been through it before, all those sorts of things. Obviously, we have a new coach, new coaching staff, some different things on that end of it as well. So I think he's progressed really well through camp, and he just loves the game and loves to compete and being around here, and obviously really wants to be here and doing everything he can to make that happen. So he's got a great future ahead of him and for us. So, you know, just love having him around. His energy is infectious, and loves talking about the game and learning from guys and being around it. So he's been great.
Max, I'm just wondering your thoughts on the preseason. It seems like there's been a lot of animosity throughout the league, not just with your group in your games. You've been around for a little while. Do you feel like it's more elevated, that type of thing in the preseason this year compared to recent years?
I don't know. I mean, listen, hockey's hockey. It's tough to really draw a line in the sand with, I mean, how to play the game in terms of preseason versus obviously regular season versus playoffs. There's going to be a big jump in each of those levels, but you got to also understand that there's young guys trying to get acclimated to the speed of the NHL, so it's super valuable for stuff like that. Guys coming back from a long summer and you want to get some rooting and some patterning down, like obviously valuable for that. Get used to taking some face-offs, taking some bumps and all that good stuff. So there's certainly value, but you don't want to see guys get hurt. Doesn't matter who you are. In games that don't essentially really mean anything for the team. It's more for individuals to work toward the ladder, but it's unfortunate, you know. I'm sure the league will continue to address that and figure out if how necessary preseason really is, but I mean, hey, it's the NHL, so nowadays and everyone comes to camp in shape. Back in the day, it used to be a big part of that was coming to training camp and utilizing this time and games to get into shape, but nowadays guys are so dialed in throughout the summer that you can make a pretty good argument that maybe if it's a couple games or whatever it is, or not necessarily at all, who knows, but I hope and I'm sure they are looking at it.
That said, how itching are you to get ready to get going?
Yeah, we're ready for sure. Yeah.
What's the ideal number of games in your mind?
For preseason? 0.
0?
Yeah, that's just me though.
Did you see Connor was saying that he wanted like 5 or 6, like he wanted a lot.
Connor who?
Connor McDavid.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's got a lot more power in the league than I do, so I mean, if that's the case, then I guess we're playing 5 or 6, but no, if I had a vote, I'd probably say, I mean, maybe 1 or 2, you know, because again, not even about us veterans personally. It's more so looking back when we came in the league and you got drafted. Like a preseason game is still an NHL game, you know. So it's exciting for certain kids that, I mean, 18, 19 years old that maybe they got to go back to junior college for a couple of years and have that opportunity to come play with some legit NHL guys is a pretty fun feeling, and it was a big part of my career coming in, and I'm really grateful for that. But as you get older, it's a little bit different. So listen, whatever the league decides to do, obviously we just work here, so we'll do it. But I don't think there's much need to play more than a couple.
Do you find yourself having to be cognizant, Max, of who's in the lineup against you? Because everyone in preseason has different end goals. You're trying to just get your timing. Other guys, as you say, are trying to make their mark in the league, and obviously they may approach it a little bit differently.
Well, that's, as I said earlier, NHL hockey game is an NHL hockey game. Doesn't matter which way you slice it. Still the best players in the world, and guys are fighting for spots. Guys are trying to get in the league. They're trying to work their way up the lineup and so forth. So there's obviously value there, and you got to treat it like a game. You got to be a professional. You still come in for a morning skate. You have your meetings. You go home. You take your nap. You have your pregame meal, and then you go out and play a full 60 minutes. So yeah, you certainly don't change your preparation or your recovery, so to speak. You still treat it like an NHL game. It's just more so. It's not really meaningful in terms of the team. You know what I mean? Like we're not collecting points as a group. We're not taking home 2 points for the season, and we're not climbing up the standings in preseason. So it's more just as a group. Okay, we got to work on this, and I mean for a situation like we have in Toronto here with a new coach, it is extra valuable because there are some changes to our systems, and you have to understand that going into it, and we do. I mean we got a group of a lot of older veteran guys that are eager to get going, and it's just part of being a pro is playing preseason hockey.
Have you noticed a difference in the Easton Cowan that showed up at this camp compared to the one we saw last year this time?
Yeah, he looked great last year too. He's a heck of a hockey player, great kid. Obviously, we're all rooting for him, and he's making a lot of plays out there. He works hard in practice, super respectful. Like I said, very humble young man, and we all love him. So we're pulling for him, and he's doing great. It's never easy to make that jump, especially when you're going to a team that has as many older guys as we do. And he looks great, and he's getting better day by day. So yeah, we're all rooting for him.
Do you have a sense of how much, like he said, that his goal is to make this team, but it might not happen just because of the numbers? Do you get a sense of his desire to make it happen right away?
I don't think anyone comes to this camp not trying to make the team. It would be a waste of time. So we're all trying to do that. Doesn't matter if you've been in the league for 15 years, 10 years, or this is your first training camp. We all have the same goal, and that's to make the team, and you take it day by day. It's a cliche, but that's all you can do, and I'm sure everyone's told Easton that, and he's doing a great job of that. He's in the gym every day. He's here on time. He's early. He stays late. He's learning about nutrition and all that stuff. You see him eating, obviously, big meals and whatnot. So he looks great, and he was a mature kid last year, but he's grown up even more. So like I said earlier, we're all cheering for him. He looks great and he's getting better every day.
How you doing, guys?
Today, obviously, the first sort of major cuts were announced.
Yeah.
What's your message to the guys that were sent and the guys that are still here fighting for jobs?
Yeah, I didn't get an opportunity to see all the guys. You know, there's obviously you got to make cuts and get your team down, so that's just part of it all. You know, some guys will be on waivers, and other guys will just go down, and it doesn't mean, you know, they can't get back up here at some point. So, and they've had good camps, but we can't keep everybody.
How close is Easton Cowan to making this team?
Well, he's a good player. Like he's there, you know. He's going to be in the game tonight, so we'll see how that goes.
What are you looking for
From him?
Yeah.
Well, listen, he does what he does with the puck and make plays, and you know he's very good at that. You know, he's a good player, offensive player. He's got to be responsible defensively and manage the game more than anything.
What's your approach for these next 2 preseason games here with the roster cut, but the guys that you're going to play today?
Well, I
what are you
think
still looking
I think some guys that are in the game today, you know, we're looking to see what they can do. They're right there. We got decisions to make, so that game today for me, they're going to go against a good lineup and you know, see how they perform.
What are some things that surprised you about Marshall Levi's game?
Well, I think his aggressiveness, his physicality as a defenseman. You know, he's very involved out there. You know, keeps the game simple. That's his game. You know, he's hard to play against.